everybody, welcome back to the Model Factory. So we have completed the AMT Camaro ZL1, and that's what I want to show you guys in this video. If you remember, this is the curbside kit that AMT does of this model. So there's no engine inside of it, so it's a pretty basic kit, and with that I was able to put most of my focus on the exterior of this and not worry too much on any engine detailing. And then I didn't put a whole lot of detail onto the interior. It looks really good, but didn't put a whole lot of detail into it and put a lot of focus on the body of this thing. So this is a custom color that I mixed up using some of the Createx Auto Air colors. It's to replicate the Inferno Orange. That was one of the factory colors that Chevy has for the Camaro. I then also mixed up a custom really dark gunmetal gray that I used for the roof panel, used for this little inlay here on the hood where the scoops are, and then any of these other gray accents like the rear spoiler, the side mirrors, and the wheels are also painted in that gunmetal gray as well. So, ultimately I'm pretty happy with how the kit turned out. There are a few issues with the kit itself. Some of those are fitment issues that I ran into. With this kit, the front clip here and the rear bumper are separate pieces. And because of that, there's a little bit of a fitment issue when you're trying to install those. The little pins and clips that are used to hold those on are just not the best. They're kind of weak and everything, and they just move around just a little bit. So took some finagling. They're not perfect by any means, but they're as close as I was able to get them. And be pretty happy with how it turned out. These are parts box wheels that are on there, and I've had those for a few years, and I decided they looked way better than the wheels that came with the kit, which of course, like most of your kit box wheels, usually the tires are too big, the wheels sit too high, the proportions don't feel right. So I felt like these fit pretty good, and they looked like a custom wheel, but yet still kind of like a factory wheel. So I decided to go with these ones, as well as those are some parts box brakes and rotors that are in there as well. Another area where this kit really lacked is the decals. And I don't have a whole lot. I used a few of the decals that came with this kit, but for the most part, they were just trash. I've got some of the ZL1 decals right on the top of the hood, and then on the side front fender here, there is a Camaro decal that I used. The problem with the kit decals is they are absolute junk. They're thin, really easy to break when you're pulling them off of the backing paper, no matter how loose you get them. And then they're not very opaque. They're pretty transparent. And so when you're placing them on anything other than a really light color, they just don't show up very well at all, which is just not a good quality for a decal to begin with. So I only used the ones that I had to, and really I could have probably got away with not even using those, but I wanted to have those decals on those parts of the car. What I ended up doing is on the front of this, if you look, we have a decal for the Chevy emblem. On the sides of the car for the front and for the rear side markers, those are a decal. And then on the back, also, the Chevy emblem is a decal. And what I did there is I pulled those from Revell's Camaro kit. It's their Camaro SS, the 2010 Camaro. The decals from that kit are actually really good, and so they fit on this thing perfectly, almost like as if they were made for it. And so I replaced the horrible decals that came with this kit with those decals, and they turned out perfect. So word of caution, if you're going to build this one, the decals are junk. Don't even expect them to remotely do what you want them to do. They're absolute trash. So anyway, let me just show you guys around this thing. There's the front. Turned out really good. I do actually think this kit has some great detail in it. Just the way the front headlights are, the front grille, the interior, and some of the exterior parts of this. I really like the detail, and I like how they molded it and made it go together. And so with that, you know, it does turn out to be a really, really nice kit. On the back here, what I did on the back is instead of using the kit exhaust tips, those are some metal tubing or some aluminum tubing that I had. I cut them to size, I polished them all up and put them in there. They just look a whole lot more real than just those really thick plastic exhaust tips that are in there. So anyway, you know, that's pretty much it, guys. That's how she turned out. I really like the stance of it much better than the stance that the you know, was in the box with the factory wheels and tires. These ones I was able to adjust them and kind of retrofit them to the hubs that came with the kit so that I could adjust the ride height and get it right where I wanted it to be and everything. Here is the other side. One more little thing I did want to point out on this, just came back to me, is there was another fit issue with the windows. Both the, mainly was the front windshield and the rear window. They just did not want to fit very well. So I had to do some filing and sanding around the edges. There's some little pins that kind of hold them in place. Just junk, didn't fit to where it needed to, so I had to cut all those off and just kind of lay it in there and glue it into place like that. Once they're in there, they look good. It's just, it's going to take a little bit of finagling to get it to look good. So anyway, all in all, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I love the color of this thing. I love the stance. You know, I think that this is definitely the way I'd want this thing to look if it was my Camaro. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And like I always say, everybody, eat, sleep, styrene. Keep those awesome, awesome builds going along. Keep the eye candy coming. And if I don't make another video before then, Happy New Year, everybody. Can't believe it's about to be 2018. All right, I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.